Welcome back to another episode of our market pressure review series. And today let's have a look at Newcastle. Newcastle is the biggest regional city on the north coast of New South Wales and is known for its port and being so close to the Hunter region and Port Stephens. In the past 2 years, Newcastle's property market didn't perform really well. In the past 12 months, the total house value growth was only around 1%. So what happened? And what's gonna happen in the coming year? Let's try to find out with 10 charts. But before we get into it, if you're interested in property investment and you like looking at the market with data, you're at the right channel, because that's what we do at Investor Kids Research Team. So if you like today's video, please like and subscribe. With your support, we'll be able to create more contents like this and deliver them to you more frequently. So Newcastle in 10 charts. In these 10 charts, I'll be covering the demographic trends, economic trends, the trends in sales market, and trends in the rental market. And if you're curious about what's going to happen in Newcastle in the coming year, stay till the end where I will give you some prediction on Newcastle's performance in the coming 6 to 12 months. So now let's get started. The first chart here is an overview of Newcastle's market performance. Overall, the market pressure is balanced. Rental pressure here is relatively high. Incoming supply scores high because we're not seeing much new supply coming to the market in the coming years. But at the same time, rental yield, affordability, and growth cycle are not at the best position. And we'll use the rest 9 charts to describe details. Chart 2 here is the population growth trends. After the pandemic, population growth has been speeding up in Newcastle, now at 1.8% per year. And this growth is thanks to 2 things. One is the surging overseas migration, and 2 is the recovery in internal migration, especially if we compare it with the negative figures 6 or 7 years ago. The healthy population growth will probably give the housing market demand a boost in the coming few years. And then if we look at the economic trends here, unemployment rate has declined a lot since 2021, now at around 3%. That is the lowest level in over a decade. And at the same time, number of job opportunities is also quite lifted compared to its last 10-year average. So the local economy is also doing really well. Now, we have a healthy population growth. We have an active local economy. They are both providing a good foundation for Newcastle's housing market. Then what's happening in the housing market? Let's have a look. In the sales market, data market has been declining since mid-2023. And at the same time, prices have been recovering since the end of 2023. But the recovery is quite slow because just now, by mid-2024, the prices have returned its peak level it achieved in 2022. So why is the recovery slow? Do we have too much supply? Let's try to find out. So here's the demand and supply relationship. So chart 5 here shows the relationship between demand and supply in Newcastle. Over the past 15 months, the number of for sale listings, which represents supply level, has been quite stable. And the same as in the number of sales, which is demand. As a result, inventory level in Newcastle has been quite stable, hovering around 1.9 to 2 months of stock. Is that a high level of supply? Not really, because 3 to 4 months of stock is usually the balanced level of inventory. And if we compare this with many other markets, Bundaberg, Townsville, Brisbane or Perth, their inventory levels are all even higher than Newcastle's, even though these markets are performing really well over the past 1 or 2 years, achieving double-digit growth each year. And how about incoming supply? Incoming supply is also looking quite tight because over the past decade, new house building approvals have been representing around 1% or even lower than 1% in recent years of the total house stock. This means that we are not seeing too many new houses coming to the market in the coming 2 to 3 years. So supply is not the reason for Newcastle's slow recovery. Then what could it be? We believe the reason could be in chart 7. In chart 7, Newcastle's market cycles can be seen quite clearly. And now Newcastle is in this break between two growth cycles. With the declining days on market and the really low inventory level, we believe Newcastle will be expecting its next growth cycle fairly quickly. And in 2025, with interest rates coming down, that would probably give Newcastle another boost in its next growth cycle. Now, let's have a look at the rental market. Over the past year, vacancy rates have been quite low at around 1% in Newcastle. But at the same time, rents didn't grow as quickly as it did before, only achieved 5% growth in a year. The biggest constraint for rental growth here is probably affordability. With 30% rental growth in just 2 years, the rental affordability in Newcastle is hitting the affordability ceiling. And how about rental return? Chart 9 here shows that Newcastle's rental yield is actually below average. At 3.8%, yes, it is higher than Sydney. However, compared to many other big regional cities, it is still quite low. And as a result, investors here, if they buy it now, would probably face some pressure in their cash flow. And in the long term, Newcastle's rental market has performed really well, having achieved more than 60% rental growth in 10 years. This is, to be honest, above the long-term average, meaning that in the coming years, we might be expecting just moderate rental growth instead of another round of surge. In the next 6 months, what's gonna happen? Based on what we've seen in Newcastle, low inventory, declining days on market, and a slight increasing trend in rental yields, we believe that the recovery trend in house prices will continue in the coming 6 months and will probably speed up. But at the same time, affordability will still be the number one constraint for the price growth. In 2025, as interest rates start to go down, affordability issues will be relieved a bit, and that is when we believe further growth or stronger growth will be happening. And in the medium term, say 2 to 3 years, we can well expect Newcastle to experience its next robust growth cycle. So Newcastle is the third city we are examining in this market pressure review series. I hope you like it. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.